About a month ago, on Mark Brown's channel, in his series called Game Maker's Toolkit, he talked extensively about heightening the excitement in XCom by forcing players to act quickly using turn timers when they made the switch to XCom 2. And at the time, I didn't have XCOM 2, but I thought the idea of ways to make XCOM more exciting was an interesting idea. And so, being a modder, I started playing around with the soundtrack for XCOM.
Prepare for deployment, Strike One.
And I found that simply taking the soundtrack and changing it up, that I could heighten the excitement levels and force myself to play more aggressively by basically changing the combat music so that when it went into a fight, it went into a more upbeat, friendly music.
This is Big Sky. We're in position near the enemy LZ. Strike One is ready to move on your orders.
I read you, Big Sky. This was a landing, not a crash, so expect heavy resistance.
In the original XCOM soundtrack, the way it went off was that basically it would have some rather peaceful music, maybe a little eerie, but for the most part calm music during the exploration part of the mission, which is where you're not fighting the aliens or haven't seen the aliens yet, or looking for the aliens, and there's no aliens to be seen. That's the exploration music, and that would be nice and calm. And then when the combat started, it would just go into this music that was like gonna scare the crap out of you. Now you're about to die, kind of a thing. Instead, so I went with a different approach where I went with the I tried to scare people while they were creeping around, with that idea of that the unknown is scarier than actually encountering the aliens. And then once you encounter the aliens, then it goes into rock and roll or something along those lines, metal, something to say, now it's time to do combat. Now it's time to kick some butt. I don't know if I can say the A word anymore because apparently YouTube flags monetization with any swear words, and I don't know what words are on the list or not. So we'll say but I was thinking something else. So anyway, I found that putting on music from video game series that I found very exciting, such as the Battlefield Vietnam soundtrack, putting on some CCR put me in the mood for shooting bad guys up, and that in turn made my gameplay much more exciting. I also put on the original DOS soundtrack, as well as a couple other personal mix things that I did. The Doom soundtrack is on there too, another very exciting kind of music, and that seemed to be all that was needed in order to beef up the aggressive levels of the game. You'll also notice a little Battlefield 3 and Stranger Things and some other things here, just to point out that those are there as well. Basically everything I had the soundtrack for on my hard drive, I would just, like, oh, that sounds good for this part of the game, and this sounds good for that part of the game.
On my way. I'm on the move. They're falling back. I'm taking heavy fire over here.
Already there. Contact. They're holding tanks of some kind. As repugnant as the thought may be, this is most likely how they keep their latest test subjects alive.
Got it. Moving.
Now, of course, in another video, you can, if you want, you can check out where I have redone the XCom 2 music with the music from the Robotech TV series. I highly recommend that you check that one out, and as always, feel free to upvote or subscribe or do whatever you can to make my life easier. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.